verses.
Cause that's what a monster do.
The artists who shape the culture.
I know when they're alive.
Flex your musical muscles with a new channel. Feature hip-hop from the 2000s.
Let me work it.
In the 2010s.
Humble. Sit down.
On Flex 2K. Now, Sirius XM Channel 49 in the Sirius XM app. Included in all trials and popular plans. To hear Flex 2K, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
We're born on SoundCloud.
Sleepy Hollow.
Stay connected to what's popping online now.
Oh, hold on. Let me talk.
A SiriusXM channel where new hip-hop is always on. SoundCloud Radio. Now, for a limited time on Channel 79. And always on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The biggest musical artists are on The Howard Stern Show.
Elton John, Lady Gaga, Harry Styles, Paul McCartney, Randy Carlisle, Foo Fighters, Neil Young, Billie Eilish.
Exclusive performances.
There she is, Lizzo. Bruce Springsteen.
And one-of-a-kind collaborations.
Miley and Metallica together.
The Howard Stern Show on Howard 100.
Awesome.
Hear Howard 100 and Howard 101. Activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
There you go now.
I think every.
Oh, that's it. There you go now.
I think every.
Oh, that's it.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you. What a beautiful day. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them to sit ya where the good Lord split you. That's all the dominant fleet of Cadillac cars all across the universe on a beautiful March the 1st in 2024. It's amazing. We're coming up on spring, and I know it's spring because when I was out for my walk this morning, I saw people walking by with no clothes on. I'm not saying they had scantily clad. They had no clothes on. And when I say none, I mean none. I mean, people are just losing their spark on the audio walking mine. I saw a lady and a man, and I thought I wasn't saying things right. Because sometimes you got to rub your eyes early in the morning, and you got to look at twice. So I was out for my walk this morning, and I like to put my feet in the grass. And as I put my foot in the grass, some people came by. They were just on a walk, kind of a power walking. And I was rubbing my eyes and I realized they had no clothes on. They were butt naked. And I realized it's springtime. Give springtime some praise. Now, I'm not going to join them. I'm not saying I was trying to look, but I'm not saying I was trying not to look. If that makes sense to you. All fair level, what I want to say with Big C Sports Podcast, I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives, especially when people run around buck naked. Some people shouldn't do that, if that makes sense to you. And then at the same time, the commercials are done, the stats are provided, the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. I upload the show. It goes out to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City, and I'm in Dimdale Hills, California. And then, I'm telling you, it goes out to 4 TV platforms streaming OTT, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And again, I never miss a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the days at Salem Media. Really do appreciate that. I gotta tell you, I know it's springtime because my nose is like, it's like sniffles. I get the springtime sniffles. It just comes, all the pollen in the air, and my nose starts to run. I'm not saying it don't taste good. In fact, it tastes real good. I don't need a Kleenex. If that makes sense to you. That may explain a lot of things. I don't need a Kleenex, but I love giving out the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know, anybody going through issues, pick up the phone and call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. And it's nice when somebody's leaning back. I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. Really do appreciate let there be light. I want to say thank you to T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network, proud sponsor of the Big C Sports Podcast. I want to thank PNC Private Bank, proud sponsor of the Big C Sports Podcast. I want $6 billion. And I'm not second and driving. I really do want the $6 billion. In fact, I've been thinking I was buying the winning lotto ticket. The other day I bought what I thought was the winning lotto ticket. And the first numbers were 3 and then 8. And I realized, oh my God, then I had to sit up because I said all I need is 4 more numbers. And they were close. But not close enough, but they were close, if that makes sense to you. But I got to get the bullseye next time. I really do appreciate that. You know, I want to say what I love doing with Big C Sports Podcast. I want to be the #1 sports show in the universe that praises God for reparations. And that's why I love saying reparations now, reparations forever. And I may even start a Big C clothing line. I started a Big C clothing line back in the day. I had a good old boy from down south in Mississippi, and he had started making me a clothing line. And I realized maybe it's good I didn't go through with it because in California, I tell you, you're going to see people running around buck naked. I'm telling you, buck naked. Now, they were in decent shape, and I'm not saying I was trying to stare, but I wasn't trying not to stare. Because who doesn't want to see the naked body? The naked body is so beautiful, but sometimes we tend to shame it for people walking around naked. Well, yeah, I'm not going to walk around naked, but you understand my point. I really do appreciate seeing the naked body as long as it's in the right place. But on the park, I don't need to see it on the park. I'm telling you, I just really love not seeing it on the park. You know, I want to tell you that I love doing the Big C Sports Podcast. I'm going to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I think I'm one of the only ones. I think I'm the only ones in the world of sports that talks about the Reparations Task Force. And I think about some of the things that keep happening for all people. If it's good, it's from God. If it's not good, it's not from God. Sometimes people shucking and jiving. I'm not shucking and jiving on Big C Sports Podcast. I want to give praise where praise is due, so I want to take the time to honor what nobody else does in the universe. And that's honor the California Reparations Task Force. #1, I met with all of them. Attorney Camila Moore, she's brilliant. I love giving her praise. And then Dr. Amos C. Brown, the vice chair, he's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And the number one senator in the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford, he's brilliant. I love giving him praise. He also sponsored Name, Image, and Likeness that helps college student athletes get paid. He also helps sponsor the Ebony Alert that helps law enforcement put the same amount of resources into putting the effort to find missing black children as they do with the Amber Alert finding missing white children. And that's something I really appreciate about him. And he's also part of the California Reparations Task Force, and I really do appreciate him. And then I want to give praise to Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe. She's brilliant. Love giving her praise. I'm going to give praise to Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to her attorney, Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley over in Denver Hills, California. You know, Berkeley has its own thought when it comes to people that get involved politically. And as a man that's also an educator, a part of the California Reparations Task Force, I really do appreciate that. I just wish we could get more people to champion reparations, and he does that. Really do appreciate him. I also want to give praise to Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, part of the California Reparations Task Force. The only Japanese American on the task force. He's the only one to get paid when the internment camps happened, where Japanese citizens were rounded up and put into internment camps by the United States government. They did try to repair some of that damage by giving them some reparations. But I want to give them all praise because next, the descendants of child slavery, God, I really do appreciate that. I want to thank CNN, proud sponsor of Big C Sports Podcast. I want to thank Double O Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me Executive Order 13985. It was by President Biden on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's called the White House. Really do appreciate her. Also want to thank Senator Marco Rubio and Rick Scott of Florida reintroduced a bill called the Holocaust Survivors' Rights into the Congress. That was last year in the summertime of 2023. Really do appreciate them. I want to give praise to Georgetown University. You know, they pledged over $1 billion to descendants of child slavery, just 272 families that were sold off. They were sold to pay the debts for Georgetown University. You ever sell your children to pay off your debt? I say, have you ever sold your children to pay off a debt? How dare you think that descendants of child slavery do not deserve reparations? The anti-lynching laws. Could you imagine? We needed an anti-lynching law in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And then people say, well, we don't need reparations. Could you imagine lynching somebody, hanging them from a tree until their body's convulsing and then goes lifeless? And people sat around with the Bible in one hand saying, yeah, there you go, we got them. You know, the devil has children too. And some of those same devils, they're saying they don't believe that we deserve reparations for the descendants of child slavery. And I'm proud that Senator Mitch McConnell, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, decided to step down because he also is anti-reparations. But you know, God, you can't mock God. He's not going out easy. He's having his own health issues, if that makes sense to you. I don't wish bad on nobody. But sometimes when you're crooked, life shows up and gets you, if that makes sense to you. And I just want to say, may good people always rise to the top and do the right thing. That's my story. I'm taking with it. And I want to give that some praise that he stepped down because he knows that he was also an obstacle for fairness and liberty and justice for all. That man said he wanted to make sure that President Obama was a one-term president. How the heck would he become part of the Senate? You're supposed to work together with people. But glad that you know, what do you call it, karma? Karma has its own privileges, if that makes sense to you. I want to thank Double O, the Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me an article on United Nations that says that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. That's from the United Nations. She also has her own talk show. She deals with economic reality, and I really do appreciate advocating for her. Double O, all's fair in love and war. And then I want to say, before I get into today's show, I'm going to talk about some things that are so important to me, because you either lead, follow, or get out of the way in life. I know we get used to saying touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. But I want to tell you something that I learned it. We gotta learn to adapt and change. And what I love saying is with the Big C team, a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth with Resource Development Consulting, the RDC, with the law offices of George Jones and Scott Thibodeau. We have long-term care solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience with the great Ray De La Cruz, Medicare and You, taking care of tomorrow. And in California, it's called Medi-Cal. Why would I use the RDC, Big C? The RDC can help your family and spouse avoid the spend down for nursing home costs, and you can find out your options. Our promise to you. Anyone ever make you a promise? Our promise to you is we specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets, if that makes sense to you. Now, I told you it's allergy season, so sometimes I may slur my words, but we offer protection of your assets, if that makes sense to you, without us spending down all paperwork and communications with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists, ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary, benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescription medical equipment costs, and more. Primarily protection of your assets, if that makes sense to you. Achoo! I told you it's allergy season for me. But we always want to protect your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. Avoid the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program, because they come to protect all your assets, if that makes sense to you. And that's what RDC is there to help you protect your assets, if that makes sense to you. A one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. Give that some praise. I say give it praise, praise, praise. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. I want to get into one, it's another thought about, Big C, why is it important to protect somebody's assets, if that makes sense to you? Well, unlike the people that were walking through the park this morning, and they hardly had any clothes on covering their assets, if that makes sense to you. Well, like a pair of clothing, we want to protect your assets. You know, that's why RDC is good. Big C Sports is working with the RDC team as a national business development consultant, and also broadcasting that on the Big C Sports podcast. And on Big C Sports podcast, iHeartRadio, you can be heard on iHeartRadio as well as 28 other podcast platforms. Out of 250,000 podcasts, you know Big C Sports is in the top 100. That's the top 1%. You got to give that some praise. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. I believe in liberty and justice for all. I want to do that because it's important to me, and I just want to have people understand that I love what I do with Big C Sports. But I want to also make sure that you Google Freedman's Bank, Freedmens Bank, a United States bank, also known as Freedman Savings and Trust Company. And you know what they failed to do was to protect the assets of African Americans. Freedman's Bank, chartered by the United States Congress March 3rd, 1865, and you can Google it, to provide a place for former slaves to safely store their money, especially for those who don't believe we deserve reparations. After several successful years in which Freedman deposited more than $60 million into the bank, it collapsed in 1874 as a result of mismanagement and fraud. They had 50 white trustees to oversee the bank. As a white American, you know you could go to that bank, Freedman's Savings and Trust Company, as a non-profit financial institution. You were able to invest in stocks and bonds if you're white, Treasury notes, and other securities of the United States. Unlike a conventional bank, the Freedman's Bank was forbidden to make loans. It operated as a sort of cooperative. Each depositor owned shares of the bank's assets. But you could not get a loan. Imagine you work hard all your life. You want to start a business. You want to insure that business. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. What's 800-772-8624, Big C? That's the Big C team to get your assets protected, if that makes sense to you. But think about that. They could not get a loan. And they had a board of 50 white trustees named to manage the bank's affairs, and they stole the money. And then they say, we don't need to pay no reparations to descend as a child of slavery. Just pull yourself up by your own bootstrap. And to me, that was not the right thing to do. But they did it anyway. And without Big C Sports, many people have never even heard of Freedman's Bank. Why is that the case? Because mainstream don't want you to know about it. But you know what you're going to hear about? As I tell you, Senator Stephen Bradford, he's the number one senator in the United States because he submitted Bill SB 490 to reestablish Freedmen's Bureau in California. That's the bank that would pay out the reparations. That's important. It's already in the legislation in California with the legislature. And we've heard of AB 3121 and also we've heard of HR 40, bills for reparations. I'm going to keep talking about that because it's important. Oh, Big C, you talk about it every show. Yeah, but if you were to work hard and it's time to get paid and they say, well, we not going to pay you nothing, would you just put your head between your tail and walk away? Well, some people would. They would put their heads between their tail and walk away. But that wouldn't make you feel good, would it? So anyone that says that we don't deserve reparations for the descendants of child slavery, I just want you to Google the Homestead Act. It's called Homestead Act 1862. United States Congress, the government gave white people over 200, it's really nearly 300 million acres of land for free. You just have to occupy that land. And prior to that, there was slavery from 1619 to 1865. What did they give black Americans? They gave them nothing. The Homestead Act was passed right before Freedmen's Bank was created. The government thought so little of the people that worked from cradle to grave in this country, they gave them nothing. And now you have people right now that have a chance to say, you know what? We should sign reparations in the law. Those congressmen and those senators, like Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, he said, we don't need to pay no reparation. We had a black president. But nature has a way of dealing with karma. He's dealing with his own karma, as he's so sickly now. I don't wish bad on nobody. But if I know the Homestead Act existed, he has to know it existed too. And it gave people who look like him everything. And he had the balls to say, well, they don't deserve nothing. We had a black president. That's crazy to me. I believe in having faith, having patience, having forgiveness, and having mercy. And I'm trying to have all of that. I want to do as much as I can to have all of that and preach forgiveness and patience and mercy. Give that some praise. Nobody's perfect. But my goodness, if you got a chance to do something and make something right that was wrong, and if you got a chance to protect somebody's assets, there's nothing wrong with doing that. And that's what I love about Big C Sports Podcast. I want to take the time to pay a special thank you to a guest that I had on yesterday. And I believe strongly in media because I am media, and I believe in all people. I'm egalitarian. I believe that everybody should be treated fair. But when you think about why RDC, why would I listen to you, Big C, when I have a business and I want to get protection and deep asset liability protection? I tell you, we have the backing of attorneys. You can't beat what I'm saying. Everybody's trying to go sell somebody something. But we have the backing of attorney George Jones, Esquire, chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. We have Mr. Leon Woods, resource development consultant, one of the top lobbyists in the state of California. We have Miss Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. She endorses our product. We have Mr. Ray De La Cruz, the CEO of Resource Development Consulting. He has great products. We have Mr. Alex De La Cruz, the founder of American Veteran Benefits. And we have the Big C team, Charlton Curry, business development consultant. And I'm also I'm an advocate for people who do the right thing. Give doing the right thing some praise. It's not just saying, come listen to me. It's about listening to the decades, over 3 decades of experience. Solutions by the book. When you think about civil rights that was passed by President Lyndon Baines Johnson, when he was signing in the law, the long-term care entitlements, you know who was with him? You want to know who was right there with him? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Oh, there you go again, Big C. How you know? You can Google it. Harry Truman had worked on it for 20 years, but Lyndon Johnson signed it in the law. And right there with him was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's important. You can't say that I'm not on the right track because I'm endorsing what they endorse. You got to give that some praise. They're trying to look out for your assets if that makes sense to you. And I'm going to do the best I can with the Big C team to do that as well. I want to do something because it's so important before I get into some sports. I feel this is the first day of March 2024, but I want to leave you, before I get into some sports, I want to leave you with one of the most powerful speakers in the history of the United States of America, in fact, of the universe. Listen to what he says about coming to get our check. Listen up and tell me that you disagree with reparations after you hear Dr. King speak.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. This is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
There's no way you can say that you don't agree with Dr. King and reparations. When you hear that speech, it's bigger than Big C Sports Senate. I'm listening to one of the greatest speakers ever in the history. And that's why it's important to me. I want to play that as much as possible because it's so powerful. And when you think about that, I know we want to get, everybody's going through what they're going through. But if you don't get paid, I saw a program on 60 Minutes that was sent to me by Ray De La Cruz, and they had a program where people were having their 401ks cut in half, and they were losing a lot. And most all of them were Caucasians. They got their jobs through civil rights with the Civil Rights Act and affirmative action. White ladies walk right through the door. In fact, right now, you look in corporate America, most of the management either white men or white women. It was black Americans that marched for it, though. You got to understand that. It's about liberty and justice for everybody. And that's what I love about listening to Dr. King. I'm telling you, it's so important to me. I'm going to get into something that I want to just thank a gentleman yesterday because I believe in either lead, follow, or get out of the way. His name is Mr. Harvey, and he's part of the California Black Media. Tony Harvey, brilliant man. He's covering NBA basketball, NFL football. We have so much in common. Our paths have run together, graduated same university. But when I want to put this out there because it's important. What is California Black Media? Think about that. California Black Media is a trusted advocate for more than 30 independent black-owned and operated news publishers, multimedia platforms, and broadcasters across California. In Big C Sports, I do my thing every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. At the core of the mission is a commitment to plead our own cause, a phrase inspired by the words and wisdom of activist, educator, and pioneering journalist, the great late Ida B. Wells. Think about that. The programs are designed to support the work and strengthen the editorial capacity of our local media partners. We provide impartial, fact-based, data-focused on news coverage to our media partners, covering California politics, governmental affairs, and policies that impact the overall health and quality of the life of African Americans. A working partnership with Ethnic Media Services connects our organization to the journalism and conversations that unite or may potentially divide various ethnic communities across the state. Our work also, it facilitates communication between African American Californians, policymakers, the black press, and community-based organizations, creating a communication loop that ensures African Americans are informed, engaged, and participating in the process that strengthens and defines democracy. But it's not just there. When he came on the program yesterday, I was very much enlightened that he talked about some of the same path to success that I've had. We all ask God for favor and we give God praise. At the same time, it takes people. You know, people make the world go around. And I'm going to get into some sports too because I'm trying to get this where people, it's just my opinion. And I have my own opinion, and everybody has one. You don't have to like what I do with the Big C Sports Podcast. I love the sports and the religion and the political world because it's real. And I'm just trying to get all of our brethren, no matter what color you are, we're open to everybody. You don't have to be African American to want to do the right thing by African Americans. Oh, Big C, you say it all the time. Well, that's true, but when I went in, I was talking to Mr. Harvey about his success in media as a journalist, and he lamented some of the same things I lamented. That when I walked into the workforce of corporate America, mostly I was one of very few black Americans there, African Americans, men and women. So I went out on my own journey. I know my stuff. I can do this show with my eyes closed because I'm very well read, and I have a lot of life experience that I put into Big C Sports. That's why I don't use scripts. I don't need a script. You don't need a script to tell you how to breathe. You just keep breathing, and when you breathe deeply. You don't need another man or woman's permission to breathe. And that's what I love about doing Big C Sports Podcast. So when I brought on Mr. Harvey here today, something that he said to me that is so powerful, I'll never forget it. Because it's happened to me. One time when I was in the Bay Area, at San Francisco Channel 7, I was given the chance to do a reading for Oracle. You know, they have their name on a lot of ballparks in the Bay Area. And over the phone, they liked me. I was sent down by ABC Channel 7 in San Francisco. And by the time I got to the meeting, I drove down to Santa Clara. You want to hear what they said to me? When I said I was there for the meeting, they said, are you Charlton? I said, yes, I'm Charlton Curry. I've been set up to meet with one of your directors here to do a voiceover work for Oracle. And the lady, Caucasian lady, that got into affirmative action, she looked at me and said, oh, so you're Charlton. She said, oh, okay, well, just give me a moment. Have a seat. So I had a seat. You know, they had me sit down for about 45 minutes. I almost got up and walked out. I kid you not. Because on my way down there, I had many conversations with them. I was sent there by ABC in San Francisco. But would you believe when the two Caucasian men came out to get me to come back to the studio? Well, come on back and we'll have you do a reading. And when I was doing the reading, I'm very well read. I won a speaking awards and broadcast awards. But one of the Caucasian men in his khaki pants and green shirt, never forget it. He had his hands kind of crossed. If you ever saw the Incredibles, where the insurance guy was saying, why do you keep paying on insurance claim? And the guy said, well, she's an old lady. She needs her money. He said, Bob, we're not here to pay out claims. We're here to save the insurance company's money. 800-772-864. 800-772-864 if you're being jucked around. But I'll never forget the white man said to me, well, could you sound more black? And I said, give me an example of what more black sounds like. He said, more, could you sound more street? I said, well, give me an example of what more street sounds like. And he turned bright red. Needless to say, he said, okay, well, we'll get back to you. But they loved me over the phone. But they weren't expecting a beautiful, intelligent black man to show up because they were looking for another white voice. Oh, we don't need to pay no reparations. I'm colorblind. Ain't nobody colorblind. If you were colorblind, you wouldn't have had white restrooms and black restrooms or colored restrooms, white drinking fountains and colored drinking fountains. I'm saying this in honor of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell because now that he's stepping down because he's not doing well health-wise, he could have done what Dr. King said. He could have done the right thing and say, you know what, we've robbed black Americans. He also has a family that owns slaves on both sides. They could have done the right thing, but he chose not to. And because of people like him and the people that had me come down to Oracle in Santa Clara and do a reading when they love me over the phone, oh, you're Charlton? Oh, are you the guy that we talked to over the phone? Yes, I'm Charlton. Oh, okay. And then they asked me if I could sound more street. I said, give me an example of what Moore Street sounds like. He said, more black. Two white boys, how they get their jobs? Nepotism. So what I want to do with Big C Sports Podcast, I don't want to just read about scores, tell you who won the game. The people who win the game are the people who are doing the right thing. And I want to do the right thing. I have people who are black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Filipino, Native American that I work with. But I'm not colorblind. I believe in diversity. And not just by lip service. And so what I want to do is help create agencies all over this country, helping put people back to work. No matter what color you say you are, all life came from the African continent, according to Dr. Leakey and Gregory Mendel, the fathers of paleontology and the father of genetics. All life came from the African continent. And that's why it's so important to me that I play this song. I want you to hear it. It's about reparations. And once you hear it, everybody from sea to shining sea, they should listen to it because it's so powerful. Here it goes. You gotta listen to it. It's so powerful. You can dig it. Can you dig it? Big C Sports. Can you dig it?
In spite of all the terror, all the harm, all the crimes against our humanity, we have over 400 years of black resilience. Acknowledge, apologize, repair. This is a call to action.
I told Pharaoh, let my people go. And I feel like Joshua and Jericho. God on our side, so we all in know. Mathematics, Asiatic, actual problematic for savages. We demand an answer for these damages. First you gonna acknowledge, then apologize for real, more than teary eyes. Say it was a Holocaust, on up to the homicide. Ally, oh you anti, now you gotta pick a side. All colors, all generations, we came for reparations. No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations.
No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations. We the fruit of what our ancestors prayed for. First generation college graduates and homeowners. You look deeply at the roots and you see way more. History literally getting combed over. USD is an incomplete remedy. You ain't got enough denominations in your treasury to bring back to form all the souls that were taken. Spirits bring to life through these phrases. We came for reparations.
100% profit. Slavery abolished. Do Jim Crow, red line, blackball knowledge. The war on drugs was a war on blacks. And if you speak truth to power, then you under attack financially. You reparated Israel, Native Americans. Past due, you reparated me. You reparated Japanese interns, but you designated we, the people who built this country, never really set us free.
No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations.
No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations.
Over 400 years of oppression is real, so how we heal? Placing law, policies, police try to demolish me. Cause of my godly biology. So let's factor, first repair. Power of the economy, black unity, solidarity. Not asking for handouts or charity, but how can we overcome disparity? Reparations.
No debating, need more legislation.
Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations.
No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations.
No debating, need more legislation. Worldwide got the people saying we demand reparations. No debating, need more legislation.
For independence, this is a declaration, we came for reparations.
I see the vision like I was looking through her eyes. It's time we get paid, need my piece of the pie. We want reparations, no more segregations. Talking 40 acres, now that's a celebration. On the back of the bus, I'm feeling just like Rosa. For my ancestors, look amongst us. For my children's children, I walk like Moses. We the people, God bless the chosen.
Is that powerful? I said, is that powerful work when you hear reparations? I love playing that. To me, it just means so much to my spirit. I hope that more radio stations and podcast companies will start playing that too, because it's not about just me. It's about all of us trying to do the right thing, and that's what I want to do with Big C Sports. I know we're going to get into sports too. We're going to talk about who won a game, and there's nothing wrong with that. But imagine, as Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell steps down, and he was telling you that he doesn't believe that descendants of child slavery that got nothing deserve reparations. Well, reparations about to happen, and he's stepping down. What does that tell you about karma? Give karma some praise, if that makes sense to you. I wish the best for everybody, but you know when you're crooked, and you know when you're not. You can do the right thing by people, or you can do the wrong thing. And I do believe that our senators, I want to stand behind California Senator Stephen Bradford, because he's a brilliant man, and he's doing the right thing for people, and he's not shucking and jiving, and he's very fair no matter what color you are. That brother's trying to do things by law that puts things in place. It's not just about me and what I'm saying with Big C Sports Podcast. He's doing the best he can, and I want to give him praise for that as I get into what's going on more with reparations and also Big C Sports. So that's who I am. I love what I do. I love that we have people that understand that doing the right thing is always the right thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do know that back by popular demand, there are a lot of people who just want to hear about who won the game, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to help you protect your assets, if that makes sense to you. With the RDC team, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. You know we're coming up on March Madness. March Madness means basketball will be taking place all over the country with some college programs that are going to try to cut down the nets. And I keep saying, this is the 5th year I've been saying this, I hope they start talking about reparations for descendants of child slavery. Nearly $1 billion is made during March Madness. Nearly $1 billion. Why not have the right thing done for descendants of child slavery? I'm going to talk about some of the schedule for March Madness, and it starts this March. I mean, it's amazing how many people are going to be a part of this TV programming that they have us do. So selection is going to begin on, I think it's going to be March 17th that they'll start with the selection. And I believe it's going to end, it's going to end in Glendale, Arizona. But I'm going to go through where it all starts for March Madness, and everybody's going to have their brackets filled out. And these, obviously, companies are going to have their networks where they can get in and try to win some money on picking the right teams that are going to win at the March Madness and National Championship and cut down the nets. Everybody has their own thoughts about who's going to do that. But if I can tell you what I think with Big C Sports Podcast, if we can get to the point where we're not afraid to talk about paying people for their efforts. So Selection Sunday happens is Sunday, March 17th. And then you're going to have the first 4 matchups March 19th through 20th. The first round, March 21st through 22nd. The second round, March 23rd through 24th. The Sweet 16 is March 28th through 29th. And then you get into the Elite 8, March 30th through 31st. And then the Final 4 will take place Saturday, April 6th at State Farm Stadium in beautiful Glendale, Arizona. And then the NCAA Championship game is Monday, April 8th at State Farm Stadium in beautiful Glendale, Arizona. So when I look at the sites and where they're going to start playing these teams, for the most part, these are, I would say, at least 70% African-American players that make up March Madness. Think about what integration's done for sports. When people say, oh, we don't need integration. Well, because of integration, NCAA makes $1 billion through March Madness. They didn't have that before. They're not going to the Ivy Leagues at predominantly white universities and showcasing their tournament. They're using the schools that have black men. And they make all the money. And prior to the great Senator Stephen Bradford, with NIL, they were giving away hats and T-shirts and shoes. Now you can make money based on your name, image, and likeness because of Senator Bradford. So the first round, you got the first 4 is going to be Dayton, Ohio. And then the first and second is going to be Brooklyn, New York. And then you're going to have Charlotte, North Carolina, Indianapolis, Indiana, Omaha, Nebraska, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Salt Lake City, Utah, Spokane, Washington, obviously Spokane, of the great Pacific Northwest and then Memphis, Tennessee, Boston, Massachusetts, Dallas, Texas, Detroit, Michigan will be the West region, Los Angeles, Midwest region, Detroit. The South region is in Dallas, and the East regional is in Boston. So a lot of these programs, they're going to vie for an opportunity to get there, and we know a lot of these kids maybe will never go on and play professional sports. They won't get drafted to the NBA. Some will go over into Europe, and others are going to have to go to work. And with the Big C team, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, I'm looking to do what I can to help colleges have a development program where they can go to work. Well, you may not fit mainstream America for many of the athletes, black and white, especially African Americans. A lot of my white friends that got jobs in corporate America, they look just like the person making the decision whether they get hired or not. I mean, many times in my lifetime, I worked for people who didn't even have a college degree, but they asked me if I had one on my resume. They just happened to be white. That's a fact. When I got in insurance, my first manager, he was a white man. He didn't have a college degree. I did. And I was answering to him, if that makes sense to you. I'm just keeping it real. I want to create equality for everybody. Because with Big C Sports and the Big C team, whether it's real estate, insurance, or sports, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. All I ask is, can you do the job? Are you coachable? Are you willing to work as a team player? Doesn't matter what color you are to me. I believe in giving everybody opportunity because that's what I want. And I love when opportunity is being given to me. That's just what I believe. I always want to believe that. And I know sometimes I might seem a little bit naive thinking that everybody's going to be that way. But I believe that we, as a great country, we can go and do opposite of what Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell did. He knew he was wrong when he said we don't need to pay reparations for the descendants of child slavery. And now he's dealing with his own health issues. But I just gave you the Big C's NCAA college basketball opportunity for people that want to get into the sports business. And you're going to love March Madness because it's part of them. It's not as big as a Super Bowl, but a lot of people love it, and I love it too. And so that's why I love giving it praise. I give it praise. What I want to do with today's show, and again, it's my opinion, and everybody has one. I want to talk about the NBA power rankings, and a lot of people, they have their own opinion. You get men and women sitting around a table and talking about who the best player is, and everybody wants to protect their own opinion, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I want to start with Big C's NBA power rankings. I'm going to do the Big C's top 10. Everybody has their own choice, and that's okay. I would really love if the NBA would start playing that song, Reparations. It's not anti-anybody. It's pro-equality. It's pro-egalitarian. That's my story, and I'm going to stick with it. Hopefully the NBA will start playing that along with some of the music that they pump throughout the stadiums, and I think more people will start following that. I got number 10 in Big C's NBA basketball power rankings. I got the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings, they retain a top 10 spot thanks to a pair of road wins over the Nuggets and the Clippers. And then the great De'Aaron Fox, he had some of his swagger back, but I know he's been dealing with the injury right now. And I don't know if he's playing tonight, but I'm not going to change the rankings every day because of what happens in a game. I know they got knocked down by Denver, but they also found a way to win games on the road, too. They beat, obviously, the Clippers, and they have so much going for them. I really do appreciate the Sacramento Kings. As they light the beam, I hope they start lighting the reparations beam. It's in the same city. The Sacramento Kings are in the same city. They're a few blocks away from California Senator Stephen Bradford's office. And I hope that Vivek Ranadive will hold hands in the city of brotherhood and tell California Senator Stephen Bradford and California Governor Gavin Newsom and California Secretary of State Shirley Weber, not only are we for reparations, we're going to support reparations now, reparations forever. We're going to support you. Because people like Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, they don't run the NBA. It's about equality. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I can always ask. I got number 9 in Big C's NBA power rankings. The Milwaukee Bucks. After the aftermath, the Bucks hold the Charlotte Hornets to 86 points, including a ridiculous 26 at halftime. And I'm telling you, Doc Rivers, he has that voice that's so raspy. He doesn't sound like he has that much voice left in him, but he's always out there coaching. And wherever he coaches, teams tend to do well. I like the great Doc Rivers. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got number 8 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, the Phoenix Suns. When I think about the Phoenix Suns, you know, they're 0-4 without Yusuf Nurkic this season. When he's not playing, I'm telling you, they're not the same team. But he's been incredibly steady for Phoenix, averaging just about 12 points, about 10 rebounds and 27 minutes per game. They're going to need him along with the great Kevin Durant to do their thing, as well as Booker. That's my story. I'm taking with at number 8 in Big C's NBA Basketball Power Rankings. I got number 7 in Big C's NBA Basketball Power Rankings, the Dallas Mavericks. I hope they start championing reparations now. Reparations forever. The great Luka Doncic. Well, speaking of the MVP, the great Luka Doncic, he can drop 40 points like a handshake, plus 40 in 2 of the Mavs' first 3 games coming out of the NBA All-Star break. Luka Doncic for MVP, of course. I'm telling you, that would bring Dallas to the forefront in the Western Conference if they can get that good boy to play at an MVP level in the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, I'm talking about playoffs. They'd be great for the Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to go number 5 in Big C's NBA Basketball Power Rankings is my story, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go number 6. I'm going to switch it around. Number 6 in Big C's NBA Basketball Power Rankings, Cleveland. This is for you, the Cleveland Cavaliers. With the great Donovan Mitchell sideline, the Cavs, they had some back-to-back losses to the Orlando Magic and the Philadelphia 76ers before they got the rebound with the win over Washington and Mitchell's return, followed by a thrilling last-second win over the Dallas Mavericks. All fair and loving, but I do love what I see coming out of Cleveland. The great Donovan Mitchell, those good boys can play, not like they were when LeBron James was there, but Mitchell's doing his thing for the Cavaliers. I got number 5 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. Believe it or not, I got the defending NBA champion, Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets, the great Nikola Jokic. When you watch that 34-point outburst from the great Michael Porter Jr. last week, an offensive star, he can get to the basket. He can also shoot the 3. I'm telling you, 34 points against Portland, which was preceded by a team-high 22 against the Washington Wizards. Now, people always think about the Joker when they think about Denver. And when you think about, you're going to get Porter playing great, and Murray's going to do his thing. And, of course, the Joker's going to do his thing. But when you got Michael Porter Jr. doing his thing, Denver might have a chance to get back to the Western Conference Finals. That's my story, to take it with it. I got number 4 in Big C's NBA Basketball Power Rankings, the Los Angeles Clippers. Got the Clippers. Yeah, they got their wings tucked a little bit. But a little bit of defensive slipping by the Clippers, who were knocked off by the Oklahoma City, 129 points. And the Kings dropped 123 on them coming out of the NBA break. You got the great P.J. Tucker. He got some reps over the weekend. And his first game action since November will be the Clippers pushing Tucker back into the rotation. Among the reasons for me having them so high, at number 4, they've not brought out Tucker in his ability to defend Kevin Durant. But I think they could do it when they get him healthy. You got to look at the Clippers. Number 4, I think, is very solid for the LA Clippers. That's a tough team, the great King Paul George and the Beard all spread on the board. I got number 3 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, the Minnesota Timberwolves. You know, that's the great Prince territory. So the great Karl Anthony Towns, known as the Big Cat, we face the NBA, the Big Man Award. He's right there looking at NBA consideration, MVP. But the great Big Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, over the All-Star weekend and average play this season, career best in scoring, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, etc., is a strong sign that he can be in the mix. Edwards went into the All-Star break, racking up 75 points in back-to-back games with Portland Trailblazers, averaging 30 points a game over 3 games. That good boy can do his thing. So you got to know that that's a team that's going to make some noise down the stretch. But in my personal opinion, they may just fade a little bit down the back 9 when you get into the playoffs. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to get to the finals. But I got number 2 in Big C's NBA basketball power rankings, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City MVP voters, when you think about it, they're running out of reasons not to put the great Gilgeous Alexander at the top of the ballot. That good boy, he's dropping 32 points a game in his first 3 games out of the All-Star break. All Oklahoma City wins. Alexander is on pace to become only the 3rd player in NBA basketball player to average at least 30-plus points and 2+ steals while shooting 50% or better from the field. The other 2, the great Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. He did it during his peak years, 1988 to 1992. And then my last name, the great Charlton Curry. That's not Charlton Curry. That's Steph Curry, Big C. Oh, okay. The great Steph Curry, who did his thing in 2015 and 2016. This season he was unanimous MVP, and that's a pretty good, even though he shoots like Curry. When you see me get on the court, I can mess around and get a triple-double. We're talking about Curry, not Charlton Curry, Big C. Okay, well, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I got number 1. And a Curry, I want you to help me with helping NBA players protect their assets, if that makes sense to you, with the RDC team. I got number 1 in Big C's NBA power rankings. You don't have to agree with it because it's just my opinion, and I'm going to stick with my opinion. Everybody has their own opinion, but I want you to understand that I'm serious about this. I'm serious about mine. I got to tell you, everybody has their own opinion about it. But I think about Havlicek inbounds to Russell over to Ainge over to Bird over to Kevin McHale for 3. The greatest of the Boston Celtics. You know, they've been knocking on the door for another NBA championship, going after 18. They got knocked out by the Golden State Warriors a couple of years ago, and then Miami got them last year, and Miami succumbed to the Denver Nuggets. But this Boston Celtics team, they have it going this year. They really do have a great team. Jason Tatum, and I think about what Boston is able to do with that great crowd at TD Gardens. The exit of Ime Udoka, the players deserve most of the credit for what Boston has done. But Mazzulla is more than just going along for the ride. He's doing his thing. The players are listening to him. But I think it still comes down to Jason Tatum because he has to be their new Larry Bird. If he could do that, I think Boston at least gets back to the Eastern Conference Championship. And hopefully they'll start championing reparations now. Reparations forever. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Well, that's my story with Big C's NBA basketball power rankings. It's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, I do want to say I do appreciate my beautiful family, my great-grandparents, my parents, my grandparents, my beautiful mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program and food program and coaching all boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always saying, rise and shine, the best person I ever met in my life. On my father's side, my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. My beautiful brother Todd, with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak, always going forward. A voracious reader, really do appreciate Todd. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Love my mom and dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors, and 3.5 years from a major university. Helped me set up the very first interview for Big C Sports Podcast back in the day at Salem Media. It was the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting on the Wall Street Business Network. They normally go to ESPN, but because of 2 black men in the crew, they started doing their thing with Salem Media. And Daisy, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. And then my beautiful handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, very smart, every night a good man. You can be anything you want to be. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers looking up stats for players and teams for Big C Sports. One day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And I've been Googling ever since. Now on 29 podcast platforms, streaming on 4 TV platforms. One day Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV and say, play Big C Sports. You see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Now it's streaming on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Malcolm, you can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then Big C with all that wealth and knowledge over the years, always saying you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Saying let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. SB nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no three teleprompters, no producer on my ear. I do my show with my higher self. And I thank you for listening to Big C Sports. As I always tell you on every Big C Sports show, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber. You can call Lyft. You can walk it off. You can sleep it off. But don't let someone you love start drinking and driving. The life you say may be your own. Or someone you love. That's my story that I'm taking with it. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with that crap on their own. Anybody that hits you, they don't love you. No woman should ever have to deal with that crap. You need more leader in your life. Leader is an acronym for love is the answer. Anybody that loves you, they don't put their hands on you. If they do, call 911. When the police show up, things change. That's my story that I'm taking with it. Well, back by popular demand, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty. I can't possibly be beat. Every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to say reparations now, reparations forever. And then I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, I want to honor President Abraham Lincoln and Dr. Martin Luther King when they said, sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. You know what I'm saying? Like your team just won the game. Let's sign reparations now. Let's sign reparations forever. Say it one more time like you just won the championship. Sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.